are preparing for a new round of terror when findings from a Senate report on enhanced interrogations are made public. The executive summary of a still classified report is expected out tomorrow. We have Fox team coverage tonight. Ed Henry's at the White House with the politics behind this release. But we begin with Chief Intelligence Correspondent Catherine Herridge and what we know about the report so far. Good evening, Catherine.
But the 6,000-page report caps a 5-year investigation costing in excess of $40 million, driven by Senate Democrats on the Intelligence Committee. The 500-page executive summary is expected to provide new and raw detail about the post-9/11 CIA interrogation program, which critics call torture. The program included the waterboarding of Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, the self-described architect of 9/11, Abu Zubaydah, an al-Qaeda operations chief, as well as Abd al-Nashiri, the alleged planner of the USS Cole bombing in 2000. The ACLU fully supports Democratic Senator Dianne Feinstein's decision to make the findings public.
This is a CIA that is completely out of control. It's outside the system of checks and balances that the Constitution sets up. They lied to the White House, they lied to the Justice Department, they lied to Congress about what they were doing.
In an interview with the LA Times, Feinstein says the CIA program undermined, quote, societal and constitutional values that we are very proud of. Anybody who reads this is going to never let this happen again. Former CIA Director Michael Hayden says the report will betray U.S. allies overseas and make agency officers risk-averse.
This report will lead to a national espionage service, CIA, that is timid and friendless. And that's a very dangerous situation.
CIA officials say they are not defending the techniques, but emphasize that the Democrat-led Senate investigation should not be allowed to rewrite history. John Rizzo, the CIA senior lawyer during the Bush-era program, told Fox earlier this year the interrogations provided valuable intelligence.
It led to the destruction of other plans, other plots, a capture of other detainees, even the takedown of Osama bin Laden.
And Rizzo says committee Democrats seemed agenda-driven because none of the principal players were interviewed.
Would anyone want to be judged solely on a snippet of an email or they sent or received from over a decade ago?
In his memoir, former CIA Director George Tenon said the Oversight Committee leadership was briefed in 2002 and, quote, I can recall no objections being raised. The report was finished last summer, but negotiations intensified over redactions and whether the Senate's proposal to use pseudonyms would reveal the identities of CIA officers who were still covert. And a former intelligence official told Fox News that current CIA Director John Brennan threatened to resign if the issue was not resolved. The agency has argued that using pseudonyms for the officers, as Senate Democrats suggested, did not go far enough to protect them, Brett.
Thank you, Catherine. The Obama administration wants the report released, but only under its terms. Chief White House correspondent Ed Henry has that part of the story tonight.
Aides to President Obama declared today he does not believe harsh interrogation techniques made America safer, as White House officials waded into a fiery dispute between the CIA and Senator Dianne Feinstein over whether those tactics produced actionable intelligence.
The use of these techniques was not worth it because of the harm that was done to our national values and the sense of what it is that we believe in as Americans.
Nonetheless, Ernest admitted with the Senate report expected to be released Tuesday, U.S. embassies around the world are on alert as top Republicans warn with ISIS already raging through Syria and Iraq, now is hardly the right time to put more Americans at risk.
Our foreign leaders have approached the government and said, you do this, this will cause violence and deaths. Our own intelligence community has assessed that this will cause violence and deaths.
The White House appears to be playing both sides, with aides saying the president wants transparency, while Secretary of State John Kerry shared Rogers' concerns, calling Feinstein on Friday to discuss the timing of the release impacting American personnel and hostages.
He not only reiterated the support of the administration and his own support for the release of the report, but he also made clear that, of course, the timing is her choice.
While some aides to former President George W. Bush thought this was a chance for him to run from the CIA's controversial practices, he's standing behind the intelligence community.
We're fortunate to have men and women who work hard at the CIA, serving on our behalf. These are patriots. And whatever the report says, if it diminishes their contributions to our country, it is way off base.
Aides say Mr. Obama shares those worries even as his administration pushes for the report to come out.
Does the current president, share the former president's concerns at all that some intelligence officials there might be an impression they're being thrown under the bus here?
The president does believe, like President Bush expressed, I believe, that the vast majority of the men and women in our intelligence community are true patriots.
The last few moments, he believes these tactics were totally justified, adding the charges in the Senate report are a, quote, crock and a bunch of hooey. Brett?
Much more on this with the panel. Ed, it seems a reversal from the administration when it comes to sanctions against Israel and what we reported on Friday.
That's right. What a difference 72 hours make. Josh Earnest telling me today that these reports of possible U.S. sanctions against Israel were completely unfounded, even though it was Earnest himself who left the door open to those sanctions on Friday. What changed? Well, 48 members of the House wrote the president a letter Friday after that White House briefing asking him to clarify what was going on here. And secondly, the sense I'm getting from top officials is they never planned to really hit Israel with sanctions. They just wanted to send Israel a message over settlements, but you have to wonder whether it backfires, Brett.